We always like to joke, if you don't believe in ghosts when you start working at the Wabi Shastri Caves, then just wait a little bit. These caves are not natural. They are mines that were dug out of these cliffs starting around 1849. St. Paul has 80, 90 caves up and down the river. We have 7 of them. We had a lot of people living in St. Paul back then who had a lot of money despite the Depression. They got their money the old-fashioned way. They stole it. St. Paul was full of gangsters. This was really the premier place to be in St. Paul back in the 1930s. When they bought these caves in '91, it's a man and a woman, a couple, they discovered some strange things happening. Their son, who was 9 years old at the time, was standing right about here bouncing a tennis ball against the wall. And it took a funny bounce and went into the men's room. And when the boy went in to get his tennis ball, as he stood up, there was someone else in the bathroom. It was a man wearing a suit, a dark suit. And he said it kind of looked old-fashioned, like it had the big shoulders. So he turned around and went back into the bathroom, and the man was gone. And they called in Echo Bodine, who is a very famous psychic in the Twin Cities here. And she told us that we have, at any one given time, 25 to 30 ghosts. This was a 3-year-old ring bearer at a wedding in, I want to say 2005, but you can see all of this smoke around him, which wasn't there when the picture was taken. And the crazy thing about this picture is the boy in the photo insists that he is posing with his friend, the gangster, that he played with all night. We have a couple of guys who like to sit in stools at the end of the bar. In fact, we have one bartender. She was working here very late one night by herself, and she was sneaking a little glass of wine, and she set her glass down on the counter here, turned around to put something away, and when she came back, her wine glass was full. And she was the only person here. So we have very friendly ghosts. Most of them. We had a pretty serious murder take place here. There were 3 gangsters who were gunned down with a Thompson submachine gun over here in front of our fireplace. And we still have the bullet holes in the fireplace. The bodies were dragged back to the mushroom farm, where a hasty grave was dug in the soft sandstone floor, and that's probably where they still are today, so we can go look. That'll be fun. We call this our unfinished caves. The psychics that come to visit us tend to all feel like the guys are buried somewhere in this area, but again, we'll never know. We do have one ghost that is unhappy, and we're told it's a woman. There is a story passed down to us from the disco that there was a woman of Portuguese descent who was attacked in this area. Sometimes if you're standing here doing a tour and you're talking to the crowd and she just doesn't want you in her space, you might feel a little push. There is no guarantee, however, that a ghost will show up on a tour. They have been known to show up on a tour, but most of the time you don't know that it's a ghost. One guy was doing a public cave tour at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and this woman in a very lovely blue dress was standing right next to him. 2 things weird about that. Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, and she's wearing this beautiful blue cocktail dress, and normally the tour guide stands here, the crowd stands there, and she's like right here next to him. And every time he goes to a new spot in the cave, this woman is next to him, and it's kind of annoying him a little bit. Then he notices this woman isn't there. And he looks around the crowd, he sees no woman in a blue dress, and so he stops the tour and he says, "Excuse me, where is that woman in the blue dress?" And all 30, 40 people said to him, "There has been no woman in a blue dress standing next to you." I mean, we're very realistic about it here at the caves. We know we're a cave. It's hard to heat. There's going to be cold spots. There's going to be strange echoes. It's when something happens that can't be explained, that's when we go, oh yeah, it's those uninvited guests again. They can be bothersome, but really not that scary.